Yo, what's good, y'all? UW back here again in 2020. You know, I waited a day. I'm recording this the morning of, what is it, the 27th. I didn't know if I was going to do this video or not, and how was going to do this video, and I'm probably not going to be all over the place. There's definitely going to be a structure, but stay with me on this one. The legacy of a man. I didn't cry. I'm gonna tell y'all everything that transpired with my response to Kobe and all the things that I had to say. And I've been listening to various people, um, various former players, current players, coaches, and different ones. Different ESPN takes and stuff. And for me, this is like a funeral before a funeral. And for me, I don't and I could get into very personal stuff that I've talked about with people and how I view death. Nearly died 20 times myself, from near drown, nearly a dozen near drowning. So my view on death is a lot different than a lot of people. And you will hear me a lot of times. You'll see me more seriously if you know me personally. You talk with me personally. If you talk with me online, you an online homie. I think at least to a good degree, a good deal about me. I'll open up about my life, and I have no problem. I'm an open book. A lot of times while I'm more serious, and I'm not always I love the laugh and love the joke. Trust me, if you know me personally, you all know I'll crack them. The thing is, life is short. It's not guaranteed. But sometimes life feels long. You never know when it's anyone's time. Okay. I've known peers around my age. I know people who know people around my age die. Um, Different children die. Miscarriages, elderly. I grew up knowing about death. Not just myself. My pops, and pastor, different ones, many funerals, different family members, extended family, and whatnot. Fortunately, none in my immediate family have died as of yet, but from my grandma and to others, I've known a lot of people. Okay, known a lot of people. Even recently, a lady in my hometown who was like a grandma and a great grandma. She she died. She had some illness, but she was such a pillar and impact in the community. The legacy of a man. When it's all said and done, it doesn't matter what money you have. It doesn't matter your possessions, all your accomplishments. There are three things left with death, right? Besides the people that are left behind, there is relationships, memories, and legacy. Something I said to homie. Shout out to Deshaun R. Smith. Talked with him a lot yesterday. I see how many people were crying and weeping, and I understand it. Did I? No, I didn't. Um, this one hit me almost as hard. I think the only time I ever really truly cried for a celebrity when that person died, was Michael Jackson. MJ. I still remember that funeral. And I remember people in Israel and in Russia. It just weeping. The legacy of Michael Jackson, and the respect I already had for Michael Jackson, it even shot through the roof more. And I still remember his daughter speaking and stuff. This one, death can be tragic, definitely. Death, not only Coach, but his daughter. I think that's the thing that gets me the most about it. It was the fact that both of them is oldest daughter. And there was a couple things I thought about when it happened, soon after. And I'll tell you how I found out. But the wife and the kids, that was one of the first thoughts I had. The wife and the kids. Because they're left behind. And people mention about the other folks that died in the helicopter. I didn't hear about them at first, but you know, something like this. And then more. hearing about reports of what happened, and it's pretty crazy. But that is how life is. A lot of times people want to take life for granted. I knew about my mortality at a young age, and it's always been around me. A lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people will take, oh, when they get there, bro, you never know. Oh, I'll make plans, I'll make this. Um, there's a parable in scripture that talks about, a man's like, I'm going to build all this, I'm going to make all these plans. God's like, you fool, tonight your soul will be forfeited. Another verse talks about, man makes plans, but God pretty much orders the steps. There's an old spiritual, an old black spiritual, comes from a slave plantation. This may be the last time. This may be the last time. Oh, this may be the last time. It may be the last time. I don't know. You really don't know. And so the thing that I think hits hard, and for different people it hits hard differently. People talk about they grew up watching Kobe. The impact that he collectively made on so many of us, it's surreal. It's surreal. Why does it hit us so hard that Kobe Bryant died? And like I said, for different people, they remember the greatness that he showed on the court. For me, and it's just a shocker. I remember when he retired, I remember it at the time. I remember the greatness. I have him as the seventh greatest player in NBA history, basketball history. The thing is, I remember Kobe, the Black Mamba, for his post career. That's the thing that impacts me the most. It's his post career, and I'm smiling because his demeanor changed. His the icon that he became, the example he was as a man, as a father, the motivational aspects of it. I remember telling a couple folks when I saw there was a picture a couple days. I can't remember when, but it's a recent picture. LeBron, was surpassing him and whatnot. It might just been on like Saturday or whatnot. And I saw that picture, and when I saw it, it felt weird. Now, I don't have premonitions, but there has been a few times in my life where I could say, oh, this person, I know they're not going to die, or this person, I'll think of that person out of the blue. A few days, the next day, that night, a week down the line, that person's dead. For some reason, the image that I got of Kobe was, man, not just passing the torch. It wasn't that. It was like, man, this almost comes across like the last time you ever going to see somebody. It's like, right before you die, something like that. Because I've seen different obituaries, been to various funerals and whatnot. And then, of course, I put it off. I'm like, it's probably, it is what it is. And then, boom, Sunday. My sister was the first one to hit me up. Hit myself and my brothers up. And I said, what? I wanted to make sure that there wasn't no hoax out here. Okay? She mentioned it and she said, Google it. Like, because, her and I both got to fact check this. This Kobe we talk about. It's unbelievable. And it still doesn't feel real for a lot of us right now. I'm not sad. For me, I'm in somewhat of a melancholy, but a happy place because I'm thinking of the happy memories. Those are what actually make me cry. It's not the deaths themselves. But I'm remembering happily. And what's weighing heavily is the impact that he had on so many folks. But so I look it up and I Google and everything, and boom, first wiki, right? Now, for those of you who don't trust Wiki be on point. They be quick about this. They don't play. When Wiki denounces that, and then like 4 or 5 different resources 13 minutes ago. I think it was New York Post, ESPN, multiple, TMZ had multiple. I'm like, damn, it's for real. And so it's like, whoa. And then, later on down the line, another guy hit me up. And then back to back. A few minutes later, homie hit me up, and another homie hit me up. Later on, another homie hit me up, talking like, and it just the cascade effect. And you look at the comment section, just mutual respect. The legacy of a man. What is the legacy you'll leave behind? On your path to your greatness or to your purpose or to whatever you live. How are you living? Are you taking the opportunities when they're given? Or are you passing them up? Are you trying to bust your ass to do things? Are you inspiring people to be better, to be greater than themselves, to try to actually succeed in this life? What is it that you're doing? Are you creating something? What impact are you making? Because guess what? That's what I'm going to remember with Kobe. The impact. People are saying he was reasons they played ball. I did a video years ago, Allen Iverson, when he retired. And I said he was Muhammad Ali of my generation. The impact that AI had. Kobe is similar, if not greater, for some other people, greater. The impact. Because he stood for more than just something. And the thing is, he went out living how he wanted to. I think it hurts so much because for so many people because we wanted more. People mention a Hall of Fame speech. Dog, I can visualize and listen to his voice. Very rarely does this happen. I can see him giving that speech now. And you know he was going to drop some gems. You know he was going to be cerebral, but also emotional. And all of that. And inside that man's mind was a genius mind, bro. It was just so creative, so full of knowledge and life. It just, the legacy of a man. How you can impact folks. If we're not living, a lot of people, it's no shade, but a lot of people are existing out here. A lot of people, if you talk with me personally and you ever hear me talk about people being complacent and apathetic and why it infuriates me at times is because, and the different things, people are just being heinous and doing cutthroat stuff and stopping people's opportunity. We are social creatures. We're supposed to be living in fellowship with one another. Brotherhood. It doesn't mean that everything all gonna be peaches and cream. But we gotta make efforts. You gotta build relationships. Most of my best relationships, that took hard work. You look at the situation of marriages and stuff. Hard work. Kobe Bryant, husband, father, family man. A model of how things should be. I'm not putting him on a pedestal, but there is a reason we're all impacted. The reach that he had, and he used his platform. See, a lot of people get platforms and they don't use them. Sometimes they're low levels, sometimes they're bigger levels. He used his platform to impact people's lives. Boys, girls, men, and women. You have grown men out here crying. If that's not telling you the impact that this man had, I don't know what else he is. People feel like they lost a family member. Like they lost a friend of a long time. Some folk ain't never met him. You see the impact of those who knew him. Folks being able to hold it together. You're not the age. It shows you what life is really about. Too many times, folks, they just don't want to confront it. It is what it is. I'm just gonna live my life, bro. Nothing's promised. One of the things my pops and a lot of older folks would say, my dad would often say, is give people flowers while they're living. Because you never know. You never know. And This isn't no scare. This isn't me being mourning. For those I say definitely grieve. It's okay. It's okay to grieve. And if you need help, talk with people. This is what you should be doing. Don't If you're shook up, it's okay. It's good. It's natural. But allow it to inspire your life. Allow it to push you to strive for more. To maybe recalibrate. Sometimes, and I'm not dismissing, but I'm being honest. Sometimes events happen in life that cause us to either rethink or maybe refocus. Sometimes things are wake up calls for a lot of people, you know? Some folks damn near OD. Some folks have a death in the family. Some folks have a car accident near fatal, and for some people it's a near divorce. For some, whatever the situation is, some people it's a childbirth. You know, uh, sometimes life just has wake up calls, and hopefully, if you look at the positive, that this loss, the loss of the daughter, and the potential. I think that's also one of the biggest things that people, and when you talk about legacy, is his potential. It wasn't like he was an old man, It wasn't like he was Bill Russell's age. 41. It's not super young, but it's not old. His daughter, 13. I thought she was older. Um, one of my best friends, she mentioned that last night, and eventually later on, I found out because I thought she was a few years older, but found out she was 13. But it happens, and folks can second guess what should or should not, bro. People die in car accidents. People die from falling down the stairs. People die from drowning in a pool. People die in their sleep. I knew a young man who's a boy, 17 years old, several years ago. His funeral, his mom, kept it together. But the young man died in his sleep. And it was the first time I'd ever seen a funeral memorial service where there seemed to be more young people by and large there. And you had girls just bawling their eyes out there, weeping. Boys, like folks, teenagers, they were shook. I know people use it, they were shook. Okay. I know a number of friends of mine, whether it be someone mutual or folks that they know. Uh, I'll be seeing on Facebook sometimes, and I'll have no idea, and then boom, a guy I knew went to school with. This is going back about maybe 6 years ago or so. Um, Him and I weren't cool at first, but then fast forward a few years down the line, he and I had rekindled and had made a friendship and whatnot. And he was doing some things that were questionable, but that's not how he went out. You know, kind of in this similar fashion. He had a sailboat, and it was a stormy night. He was trying to secure it, and we don't know what happened. It's down at the end up at the bottom of the ocean, and he they suspect like it was a lightning strike or something. He died, and his family, and one of my really good friends, she still to this day is impacted by that. I know a number of people with their grandparents and parents are still impacted. It hurts, man. It's a lasting impact for a lot of people to lose. And I say, work the best that you move on and heal. Um, I'm not being dismissive. I'm being honest. Do your best to be able to have that person use that person's memory as an inspiration for you to live life and live it abundantly. Don't waste time. Don't do things to hinder potential of better. Okay. Um, Let that be a reminder. You know, when he died, I'm talking about my friend who died from the sailboat accident. I was numb, but it was a similar situation to where I had just been thinking about him like a few days. Had probably texted him, I don't know, a couple weeks. We had talked a couple weeks ago. Just seen him. And then boom, a couple weeks later, you know, if you got time to build relationships, you got time to where you can reconnect if that's what's necessary. I know not all relationships can work like that, but for those that really matter, man, make sure you put in that work, man. Because you don't want to live life with regrets. You don't want that on your conscience, on your soul. Or you fought with someone and then that person's gone. And then now, damn, that was the last word I had. I know nothing's guaranteed, but let's all work to best. And let's all work to build a legacy like Kobe Bryant to where we impacted people and people remember us for the good that which we did and, be a good man and good woman. That's what, for years, that's what when I go out. Because unless there's miraculous rapture situation, we're all gonna die. You're born, you're gonna die. That's just what it is. And so I want to go out like a good man, and pretty much ending off because Dr. Martin Luther King, being his birthday in this month, he mentioned about may my living not be in vain, and that's something that stuck with me for years. May I don't want my life to have been lived in vain, and so I leave that with my parting unexpected one. Hey, come and subscribe. Tell me your thoughts. What's your memories of Kobe? How did you feel about him? Um, and if you need anybody to talk to, just let me know, bro. I'm here for anybody for real, because it's what I do, and I understand where you're coming from, man. All right, y'all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace, and yeah, it's this ain't gonna be, and I said it yesterday. I said this ain't gonna be something that's quickly forgotten. You're gonna hear about it all week, and it's gonna last with folk. You know, one of the two things I said, I remember, uh, for a lot of people was Prince, but I remember David Bowie. For me, David Bowie's death was interesting because I was not a David Bowie fan growing up, but when I moved to where I live, a lot of people were impacted, and not on the same level of what happened to Kobe, but it was for those who love David Bowie and help express. It was heavy. It was mad heavy, and so for some people, it was Prince. You know, different people. Not everybody's gonna hit you, but there's gonna be at least probably one, celebrity or not. There's gonna be somebody's death that's gonna hit you, and it's gonna affect your life because of that person, what that person meant to you, what that person stood for. Um, you know. Stay strong, y'all.